Hey everybody, you're listening to the Hisessions Hawaii podcast where we talk about everything local and beyond. I'm Johnny Masato, your host. Joining me today is Kyle Shimabukuro.
How's it?
Devon Nekoba.
Howdy.
Before we begin, let me remind our listeners of all the ways they can stay in touch with the show. There's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Hisessions. Go to SoundCloud, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Listen to the podcasts. And you can find us on hisessions@yahoo.com. If you'd like to help the show, get more music on the channel, go to patreon.com and donate. They would be more involved with the show, help to see what's on the channel. We just started releasing High Wada on the channel. They're a hip new band.
They're good, yeah.
They're super good, yeah. And young.
Yeah.
Dude,
How many people in the band?
There's, I think, five guys.
Two keys, one bass, two lead
guitar.
vocalists, and six. I think it's six.
That's a big band.
You keep using fingers.
Yeah. Keep adding on. Yeah. They're a pretty big band, but they got a big sound. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta go check them out.
it's funny because they used in-ears for monitors.
Yeah.
Which is like the new thing, but it's something that I can't
get
stand.
used to in-ears.
Yeah,
They make me nuts.
but I watch the videos and the guy keeps touching the in-ears, because I don't know. I have
Because you put them in and then the sound is weird. And so you take one out so that you can hear, because it blocks you completely off. So you can't hear what's going on around you. You can only hear whatever you're telling them to put in your ears. And so you crack them a little bit. And then when you crack them, that's it. Then everything is in and you're going, where am I?
So it's
What
either
is
that or monitors?
Yeah.
It's either or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you get to a certain level of musicianship and cost, you get monitors and in-ears. But
I don't see a lot of people doing that, though.
I don't see a lot of people doing that either.
Yeah.
But
and
I think
I've been
do.
to concerts now where all they do is in-ears. And it's weird because the whole front of the stage is nothing on there.
Yeah.
And you're going, how the hell can these people hear what's going on?
Yeah. I prefer. I'm old, so I prefer monitors. All right.
Yeah.
We have 2 new patrons, so I'd like to thank Ron from Chicago.
Hey, Ron.
Thank you for joining our Patreon
have a great
community.
town.
Yeah, great town.
Great food in Chicago.
Yep. Go Cubs, go Bulls, go Bears. Thank you. And Jennifer, who I don't know where she is.
Thank
but thank
you.
you, Jennifer,
Thank you,
for
Jennifer.
being a patron. Appreciate that a lot.
Your shirts are on the way.
Yep. Kupa Kupa Landscaping, Landscape Architects. You can call Kevin Yokomura 808-722-8685 for a free estimate, or go to kupakupalandscaping.com. Of course, thank you to Fort Ruger Market. I just realized, Kyle, that we did not take a picture with Gabe with his food.
Oh, God,
so
we got to do a fake one after this.
we're going to have to figure out something after this. Oh, Devin never ate his plate yet.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Did you get a plate too?
I had a Pokeball.
Pokeball.
Oh,
Pokeball, yeah,
okay.
Pokeball for Gabe.
We'll just have him hold the poke in his hands. Hey.
You can find Devin live 365 with Rella in the morning. Make sure you put 2 L's in Rella to make sure that the search finds you.
Otherwise, it's Rila, which is weird.
Yeah. And you can find Devin. I mean, Kyle.
Kyle, yes.
At highwayclothing.com.
Probably
Woo.
kind of
Dude,
long
you're losing
break
it,
I
man, I
took,
know.
that's why.
I know.
Is that what the gray hairs are for?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have like more gray hairs. Like I can see them now. It's weird.
They're there. Yeah. No, they've always been there. It's just that they've been hiding.
You don't pay attention.
This is true. My wife says that all the time.
So now, we'd like to introduce our special guest.
Who's been with us before, apparently.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast before, but Mr. Gabe Tom.
Gabe.
Let's see now. How would I describe Gabe? So Gabe is in the film industry.
Gabe looks like he's 15 years old. So don't adjust your camera. Don't adjust your TV. That's what he looks like. And I know we old as shit, but he looks really young.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and especially
And he
to
is
us,
really young.
He's going to look terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to look terrible. Sorry.
He's gonna that's a Freudian
Yeah,
slip.
I know.
Anyway.
It has been a long week. Okay. So Gabe,
Dude, it's only Tuesday.
So yeah, exactly. It's been a long week and it's only Tuesday
And
already.
we had some people had a day off on Monday.
I have had like one day. So
Brother just played the Bruno two days in a row.
Yeah, but
that was last week. But
yeah, Jake did most of the heavy lifting on that.
I haven't had a day off. Well, day off to me is like I work from home.
Yeah.
So I still, because I work every day, but the days I don't have to drive into town and do stuff, I've had one of those in like the last 3 weeks. I've been driving everywhere all over the place.
You shared me your Fortnite accomplishments. You had time on your hands.
Yeah, I played last night.
What that
From
shit?
Yeah, all right.
Okay, anyway.
And he went to see Captain America.
Yeah, I went with Devon to see Captain
Yeah.
America. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but we should talk about Gabe first. So Gabe is in the film industry. He works on movies. He's worked on some of the movies that you've probably seen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the ones that are shot in Hawaii. He's worked on TV shows, but also want to focus on this huge accomplishment that he has done, which I don't think he gets enough credit for. But is it just the last 2 in a row, or was it during a break?
So I got the first one in 2021, right out of COVID, or
Okay.
right when the race had gone back to in-person after COVID. And then the second one was this past year in 2024.
Awesome.
So Gabe has won for aina, meaning that anyone born in Hawaii, resident of Hawaii, the Honolulu Marathon twice now.
Wow.
Fastest
Time.
Really?
Yeah.
And so you think about obviously there's world champions that do this full time. Gabe is not a full time runner, but everybody in Hawaii.
He's not a full-time runner and he won the marathon?
Well, I mean, the guys that do it, right? The guys that do it like for those those dudes that are doing like under, what is that, 2 hour?
2 hour, 10 minutes.
Those guys, that's all they do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they train, they get sponsors, they get all this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not like Gabe who's like filming movies on the side,
And he runs barefoot.
You run barefoot?
No, I don't. Kyle's trying to build the legend here.
You gotta let it sit for a little bit before you realize it's bullshit.
All right. Okay. So yeah.
I'm trying to earn our explicit designation. 'Cause we keep forgetting, and so none of us swears during the course of the podcast. So
not much of a swear
I'm just
anyway.
I'm just gonna sprinkle them in throughout the day.
All right. Yeah. So within 2 of the last 3 years, Gabe has been number 1.
Wow.
In the state for
That's
the
amazing.
Honolulu Marathon.
Wait, okay, Gabe, how old are you?
Right now, 23. By the time this comes out, I might be 24.
Oh, your birthday! Oh, happy birthday!
How long a delay do we have this week before we put this one up?
What if it comes out tonight?
Then I'll still be 23. All
When
right.
when is your birthday? In a couple days?
March.
20.
Dude,
no,
it's gonna.
it'll be out.
Yeah, it'll be out.
Yeah.
Come on!
Wow, we're not that bad.
This is a professional podcast, man. These things come out
John
like.
has time editing between Fortnite. Come on.
Ye of little faith. Well, this isn't gonna come out till next year.
Yeah, I know. You're thinking about the Hisessions show.
Yeah.
That's the one that takes months to edit. Yeah, no, this will be out this week. Yeah.
That was funny.
All right. So yes, you're 23 years old.
And okay, so
23, man.
Did you set out to say, hey, I think I'm gonna win the Honolulu Marathon for locals?
That was never the goal
Okay.
when I started. I started running marathons back in 2013.
Okay.
And then the ultimate goal at that
So
time,
you were 9.
I was 12.
Jesus.
What?
Yeah, so the first marathon was a 4:30, then it went down to like a 3:30, and then it hovered between 3:30 and 3 hours for the last up to 2019. And then 2020 there was obviously COVID, so there was no racing.
Okay.
And then 2021 it went down to a 2:58.
How do you get that kind of a jump in your time?
So with
Were you being chased by someone?
So with marathons are a lot more flexible. You can make bigger jumps by just building fitness, and then the longer you do them and the more fitness you compound over time, the better you'll be. It's like a maturity thing. It's like you mature like fine wine.
Okay, wait, you have to explain that because the three of us don't run
So-
at all, so it doesn't make sense. Because we've done sports before,
Right.
So I understand the leaps that are made when you go from, let's say, of an 8-minute mile down to a 7-minute mile, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the pace you just have to pick up, and you just have to be better. But that leap for you was huge. It's not a small amount.
Yeah.
So, did you step up your training? Did you watch somebody?
So the big thing between 2019 and 2021 was COVID. And because I had all that extra time while only doing online classes for college at the time, I was able to put in a high volume and make the big jump at that
Yeah.
time.
Interesting.
Is there any professional marathon runners that are aina that are they get sponsorship and train throughout the year?
The closest one I would have said was that back in 2013, I want to say to 2016, we had a phenomenal high schooler named Kaeo Cruz.
Okay.
He won the state cross country championship 4 times in a row, and then he went on to be a pro triathlete triathlete in the World Triathlon Series for juniors. He just retired out, but I think that's the biggest
Closest to
equivalent. Yeah.
being sponsored, professionally run events and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
And you don't have any sponsorship. You just go, hey, why don't I run a marathon?
Yeah. I do have an ambassadorship with BioAston and Spirulina, but not a sponsorship.
What does that mean?
Just that I'm out there in the community. I'll do expos, I'll talk to people, and then I get product on the side.
Yeah. So BioAston is what
We should be taking?
No, I've been taking that for years already.
How come
And-
you're not running marathons in like 2 hours and change?
I take it so I can watch Gabe run marathons.
What is BioAston supposed to do?
Well, hold on.
Oh.
Let's start with the running, and then we'll get into BioSyn, because I know Gabe can talk about that quite a bit too.
Yeah.
But okay, so you started marathoning at 12. What made you just start getting into running as a sport, just in general? Were you on the track team, and then that turned into marathoning, or?
So I started racing in 2007, mainly 5Ks and 10Ks. It was the thing that our elementary school did, where we had what used to be the Nike Town 5K, and then the Pearl Harbor Bridge Run 10K.
And what school is this?
Aina Elementary. But our PE teacher used to like get us entry, so we'd all go. There'd be a big group of us, and we'd do that every year. And then slowly it just kept going. In 2013, we all know what happened at Boston that year, which was the marathon bombing. And so it was a long-term goal of, I want to run there. And so I chased it for so long until I finally got a qualifying time.
What is the qualifying time for Boston?
So at the time, it was a 3-hour marathon. But with Boston, they also limit the field size, so you have to beat a cutoff time. So you can run the 3-hour marathon and not get it. You have to run so far under it. So like this past year, when they had Boston, it was you had to run a 3-hour marathon, but then the cutoff time was 6 minutes and 51 seconds. So you really had to run a 2:53:01 marathon or whatever it was.
And you're gonna run it this year for
Yeah.
the first time, or have you run it before?
This will be my third time.
Third time.
Yeah.
Wow. What was your place in the Boston the first 2 times?
I want to say in the 1300s, 1400s. Yeah.
How many people run that thing?
30,000.
Good God.
Well, how much is the Honolulu Marathon?
The Honolulu Marathon for locals is...
No, I mean the amount of people that run.
The marathon averages about 25,000 every year.
Okay.
No, I mean, we do
close,
okay.
yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but Boston is the Boston, the New York Marathons.
Which one is a
the
harder run
flagship
for you?
ones.
Boston is honestly a harder run. Honolulu, it stays mostly flat. You've got Diamond Head at mile 7 to 8, but then you're just going either downhill or coasting along flats. Boston, it's rolling hills, and at mile 20, you've got something called Heartbreak Hill, which is about a half-mile incline up.
Yeah.
That's insane. See, Kyle, you could do Honolulu Marathon.
Okay,
easy.
so
I used to pass out sponges in high school to marathon people.
no, you know, the marathon comes by our house, like just down the street. So
Right by
every
my
year we
house,
would take the kids and we would like wave to
Yeah.
people. That's about as
I've
involved
always
as I
found
get.
that very interesting. That
yeah.
in this moment where someone is trying to beat a time, they're pushing their body to the pretty much the limit of what the human body can do. Besides like triathlons, and you got people who are like, "Let's go out to the street and watch them." I never understood that.
Why?
Like watch that guy.
It's like
I
watching
think
it's
I
like
think he's
watching any
shitting his
sport.
pants as he runs down, and I'm like, what's happening right now?
You're being encouraging. You're going like, you can do it.
Yeah. Or
Like
some-
that? You say it
some
like
people
that?
actually,
Or-
bake goods and pass it out to you guys.
Yeah.
Did you ever eat something
I doubt
off the side of the
Gabe.
road?
You're not supposed to eat.
I haven't.
Did you ever never grab the patelle or anything like that? No.
You're not supposed to eat, right? Because sometimes it can make you
Yeah.
need to pass it.
So actually, you do need to eat throughout a marathon because you can only store so many carbohydrates in your body,
Okay.
and you're burning roughly 800 calories an hour.
Wow.
So you need to be able to replenish that. So usually you'll either take gels or you'll have a drink mix that has carbohydrates in it,
Okay.
somewhere between 100 to 160 grams of carb in every drink. So you're trying to get between 200 to 250 carbs per hour.
But that's if you're running it at the pace that you're running it.
No, that's for everyone.
That's for everyone?
Yeah. And the longer you're out there, the more you'll need to sustain, or else you're going to hit what we call the wall, where
Yeah.
you're cramping up and your muscles are starting to contort.
Yeah.
Okay, so you watched Happy Gilmore before?
Yes.
Okay, remember when he golfs, he goes to his happy place, right? What is your happy place and your thoughts when you're running that kind of thing? What do you think about?
Really, you just try to turn off and focus on the pace and your breathing.
Okay.
So you don't have music?
No,
no.
no music, no nothing.
And a lot of the world majors like Boston, Chicago, New York, London, Berlin, or Tokyo actually ban music because it's a safety hazard.
Oh, because you need to hear what's going on.
Yeah, I can see that.
So a lot of them actually don't allow you to have music, so you just have to be able to focus.
So you don't think about like Hisessions shoot or John singing or anything like that while you're there, no?
Now he will.
The main focus for me has always been just, focusing on breathing, focusing on pace, trying to keep it as relaxed as possible, because the longer you can be at ease in the marathon, the easier the last 6 miles are.
Is that the hardest?
Yeah, so that's right around mile 20 to 22 is when your body starts to run out of carbohydrates. Even if you're taking gels, you're also the most dehydrated at that point. So there's the most things that can go wrong between those last 6 miles of the race.
Did you run cross country and stuff too?
Yes.
What did you go to school?
Kaiser.
Oh, okay.
John's school.
My goodness,
He's
John, this is what you could have been.
He's obviously very
Really?
intelligent.
Because he went Kaiser.
And a scholar and an athlete.
Yeah.
Yes, scholar and an athlete.
Because he went to Kaiser?
That's right. Because we only produce geniuses.
That's true.
They did make Mike Love.
Yep, we had Mike Love, Akebono, Sid Fernandez, Gabe Tom. We got them all.
Ed Sugimoto.
Ed Sugimoto.
So you were running from the time you were 12 years old. You just said, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna dedicate time to doing this well.
Yes.
So are there coaches that you have? Do you run because other people have made it sort of a collaborative thing, right? There's like a group of people
You're
and you sit
self-taught?
there and you run, right?
Yeah. So for me, from 2014 to 2019, I had a few coaches that I went through. And then because of my work schedule, starting in 2021, when I started joining film and television, I just sort of went off intuition and gut feeling, because you kind of build an idea of what you need to be successful. And every athlete is unique, where, maybe it's not one path to success. Maybe you need more long runs because you don't have the endurance, or maybe you need more speed to handle the pace and make it feel easier.
What keeps you going? Like marathon after marathon after, what keeps you going?
Because how many have you run by now?
I've done 12, I want to say. 12 or 13.
That doesn't sound too crazy. But he's only
That's
23.
half his life
That's
almost.
only 23. I keep thinking, forgetting he's 23 years old. Jesus Louise.
24 miles yet.
Well,
what keeps you going though? What keeps you motivated?
So one thing is that what Abbott puts on this thing called the World Marathon Majors, where you run 6 marathons throughout the globe. They're considered the biggest, most prestigious races between the Americas, Asia, and Europe. And at the end of it, you get this big medal called a 6-star medal, and it has each city and a little iconic landmark of that city in there. So that's one thing I want to finish up. So this year, hopefully...
And it has to be within the year, right?
No, it's a lifetime thing.
Oh, okay.
But still, it's sort of a big accomplishment.
This year you'll finish it up.
No, right. Hopefully in 2027. The hard part is that these are prestigious races and the lottery is huge. Some of them get 500,000 applicants for a field size of 40,000.
What?
And not all of those are for just the lottery, because you also have sponsorships, charities. If you didn't know this, the London Marathon is actually the biggest charity on the planet, bringing in about 1.3 billion British pounds per year to various charities throughout the world.
Is all marathons charity run?
No.
Honolulu Marathon is though, right?
They do give a proceed away, but like these ones, they'll actually give each charity a certain amount of spots, and then you have to fundraise X amount of dollars. So it can be, $2,500 or $10,000, depending on the charity and how prestigious the race is and how difficult it is to get in. So like Boston, the lowest charity is $10,000 of fundraising, because it is such a prestigious race where usually you have to time qualify into, versus Chicago, it's like $7,500 because it's a little bit more open, it's a lot more public.
What do you, where do you feel like the future of marathon running is going? Is it going in the direction of being more sponsor oriented, or is it like, or
You
do
mean
you
for him?
enjoy? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
do you enjoy doing the people's races? And I mean, anybody can join in, or would you rather do these time things where you have to you have to hit a specific time in order to qualify?
I think because of the big running boom that happened during COVID,
Yeah.
it's a lot better that it's the people's races. You've got these recreational run clubs.
Mm-hmm.
You're building more of a community around these events. Because before it was 5 guys come out at 5 a.m. in the morning and go do a 20-mile long run in preparation for a marathon.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing, 2 dozen, 3 dozen people are getting into it. There's whole social media platforms dedicated to maybe an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like Boston and Chicago have this store called the Heartbreak Run Club, which is a international club that you can join. They give out a weekly training plan with a speed workout and a long run, depending on if you're doing Chicago, Boston, or New York. They'll make a plan for that. But then it's a community that on race day you can come together, or before race day they have a pre-race shakeout, usually 2 miles in the city, and you can come together and you don't even know these people, but you're all believing in the idea that this group puts forward, which is that you can run hard or risk heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in those groups, do you find yourself being the youngest one?
Not anymore,
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Because high schoolers now are getting into marathons too.
Mm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Dang. How
Well,
do
your
we
daughter
have-
did
how-
one.
Huh?
Your daughter did one.
Yeah.
My daughter,
Barely.
my daughter did finish a marathon, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do we have? I don't understand the youth of today, right? Because it's either 15, 16 years old, and they don't do shit,
Yeah,
and they
right,
sit
right.
around playing
Video games.
Fortnite,
Yep.
or
They're running
they're
a marathon.
running
Yeah.
marathons. I'm like, where is the what? How?
Well, I think nowadays because of the internet, and you can be very niche specific. you
Yeah,
know?
and learn
so-
quick on what inspires you.
and they say there's an expert in there's an expert for everything. So
Yeah.
even if you're into marshmallows, there's some dude out there that knows everything about marshmallows.
There's also idiots eating Tide Pods.
But now
so,
they can
whatever.
find each other, right?
Mhm.
And they can
Yeah.
so you have now granted the gaming world is larger than the marathoning world at this point, but it's good that we have people who are into marathons.
So when you run, you have like a big pouch of these gels that you just down.
So it depends on the race. The World
Okay.
Marathon Majors have an official nutrition sponsor called Martin, which is a
Okay.
gel that I use. It was developed in Europe. It contains carbohydrates as well as sugar, which are 2 foundational primary nutritional sources that you need when running the marathon. And so they'll hand those out through 3 aid stations across the race for the
Oh.
marathon. So maybe I'll carry less, but then like Honolulu, where they don't have that specific nutrition, I'll carry 6 gels in a belt and then take them every 4 miles.
What does it taste like?
Is it a chewable or a swallow?
It's a swallow,
Okay.
but it's actually really subtle. Like you'll taste a little bit of the sugar, but then it's plain, so it's less likely to upset your stomach than
Huh.
some of the older gels that had weird flavors like mocha coffee or you know.
Oh, interesting.
And so Kusamoto wanted to be here because he wanted to make sure that Gabe did not downplay his accomplishments. I don't think
Which we just talked about for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I don't
but
think you're doing that, Gabe. I think you're being very, very good about
Yeah.
answering the questions. But Gabe has been pegged as someone who is a very
an up and comer.
up and comer in the sport. You know.
Well, I just
So
think
we're
it's
very proud
I
of
think
him.
it's ironic that he's doing a sport that requires the amount of focus and
Yeah.
time to do, and then you do a job in doing like media stuff that is probably takes up the most time but has the least amount of
Right.
give and forgiveness when you're trying to do something like running a marathon. Like
No.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I have a shoot I gotta go to that's out in Kualoa. I can't be running a freaking 20-mile training run. I mean, it's insane, but yeah.
Well,
but-
I had one more question, and for the marathon part.
Yeah.
So if Kyle came to you and said, "Hey, Gabe, I wanna run a marathon," what would be your top 3 steps
drive.
of like what do we have to do to get Kyle in marathon running shape?
Yeah.
I think first it's just developing time on your feet. You know, depending on when the race is, you can build a plan backwards, knowing when you
okay.
want to hit certain benchmarks.
Mm.
But it's just starting with time on your feet, 1 mile, 2 miles, 3-mile runs 3 times a week. You don't have to suddenly jump to doing 50-mile weeks because that's what everyone puts on social media.
Yeah.
50 miles a week?
What is your miles a week?
So on the low end, I'll do 50 when I'm not in a marathon build.
Yeah.
The highest I'll do is usually about 80 in a marathon build, with a 24-mile long run on the Sunday.
Damn.
God, you're doing a marathon and you don't even have to, like, you're doing it on purpose.
So the whole reason you do that is that you build in the muscle memory for how you're going to feel, and then practicing the nutrition strategy.
Of course, yeah.
Because that way, if you have a kink, if you get cramps, it's 2 weeks out from the race and not race day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Let me be clear. I have no intention of running a marathon in my life.
I think he can sense
but
that.
I do appreciate all of what you've accomplished, and
that's amazing.
That's pretty impressive, man.
Did they give you like a big ass belt or something, or
medals? Like, right?
We get a koa bowl.
Oh.
Yeah, we get a koa bowl, so it's really nice.
Cool.
Have you done the Disney one yet?
I did a Disney half marathon in 2014. It was the first Star Wars half marathon that they did at Anaheim. That one was fun.
You got to do the Dopey.
Oh, the Dopey Challenge.
The Dopey Challenge.
Challenge?
The Dopey
Explain,
Challenge,
please.
you go to Disneyland or Disney World, as the case may be. You run a 5K, and then the next day you run a 10K, and then the next day you run a half marathon, and then the day after that you run a full marathon.
Oh, my God.
It is freaking insane. But you get all these medals for running. They're
for
really
completing
cool. It's
that
like
thing.
and
What
and
year did you do that?
Frick that, bro. I ain't on that shit. You crazy? I just seen I've got a friend. He just did it this year.
Oh,
He did the 5, he did the 10, he
Damn,
did
that's crazy.
the half, and he did the full. But like for you, that's cake.
That's like
that's
a
not even
regular
big
week.
deal, right?
You could run the Great Aloha Run backwards.
I know.
Yeah.
But you know, as a person who runs long distances, that's the thing. It's interesting to talk to you about it, because when I talk to my friend, he kind of trains, but like you said, he understands what it's going to take to finish the race, so whatever.
Yeah.
But there's people who, I mean, we've got a friend, he doesn't even freaking train. Like, he gets up in the morning and walks the marathon, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And he's done it 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
There are those animals out there.
And I'm like, what is happening right now? Because then we talk to you, and you're like, I run about 80 miles a week before the thing. And I'm like,
walking it and running at an elite time is two different things, bro.
Walking that thing is insane.
I mean, I would never want to walk that.
Well, you know, when he does 5 miles, it's like less than an hour. It's like a 40. It's like what I would do on a regular, but I'm going, half a mile. Well, when I do that, I mean, it happens. I have done it.
I have done it too.
Yeah, we've all done it.
You're being chased though, right?
Yeah, being chased, but still running.
Yeah.
Dude, one time I was selling this house up in Wailaiki, and this guy comes in, and this is the craziest one. You could tell he was some kind of athlete. He's all fit, muscular and stuff. And I'm like, hey man, I'm not gonna don't ask you, but I'm just so real curious. Like what do you do? Like what you look like you're some kind of athlete or something like that. And he's like, oh, he's from Brazil. He's like, oh, I do Ultraman. I'm like, oh, what is that? You know what an Ultraman is?
Yeah.
It's like two. I forget what it is.
That's when they bike, they swim, they run.
It's a triathlon.
But it's 2 Ironmans.
Yeah,
it's double the Ironman
Yeah.
distance. So it's a 4.8 mile swim, a 236-mile bike ride, and a 52.4 mile run.
In how long? In a day?
It can spend over 2 days.
Yeah. But it's straight.
But that's what you got to do for the whole thing.
F that.
I was like, man, I didn't even heard of an Ultraman before.
Yeah.
But they've got now, there's some race on the mainland that they do.
The one they run through the desert.
No, it's not the desert. It's like a gauntlet, but they just run it as many times as they can until they die. Until they pass out.
Do you have any other hobbies like biking and swimming too then? Do you tie into your regiment?
I do some biking, but then a good thing also is weight training. Because even when you're going for such long distances, maintaining explosiveness, having strength in the smaller muscles that you don't always use when you're running are just as important as the big muscles that you use for propulsion in running.
Propulsion. Look at that.
So
he's using such big words. Really cool.
So let's pivot to how you got involved with Hisessions.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well,
I know
that's
Dave
that's
was
a left turn, but okay.
All right.
Someone was telling us a story while eating lunch. How he met Gabe and how. Go ahead. You can tell the story.
So I started off in a track club called Godspeed, which was training at UH Manoa at the time, before it was the big stadium that it is now.
Okay.
And Dave had just started bringing his 2 kids, the boys, down to that track club during one of the easy runs, because you want to vary your training. There's an easy run, there's a long run, and then there's speed workouts. During one of the easy runs, we got to talking about music, because you've got nothing else to do when you're running around but listen to music. So I had my phone, I pulled up like Mike Love at the time, I think is what I told him about. And then he's like, oh yeah, I run that channel. And so it got to going back and forth about talking about Hisessions and artists and musicianship. And at the end of the season, he actually invited me to come on and work with you guys as an intern. So it was simple things like coiling cable or understanding camera angles and framing and lighting. And then it kind of just built up from there. From now, I'm fortunate to be part of the crew.
Yeah.
Were you already doing the movie thing on the side though already? Or this was like the beginning before you started all the other stuff?
This was the beginning.
Oh, so
And
you learned a lot from Hisessions
yes,
then.
so I learned about angles and lighting, and then it helped me to develop sort of an intuition about timing,
Yeah.
like how long things will take to set up. And then one of my first cameras is John's old 5D
that's
Mark
right.
II.
That's right. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, we were like, hey, Gabe he's pretty good, you know, like
Yeah.
you can tell like when people have a good eye for light and like, oh, we need to get him a camera. And then I was getting a new camera. I'm like, oh, I'll just give him my old camera. And like, yeah, he took some amazing I'm like, damn, I didn't know my camera could do that.
Yeah.
After I see his Instagram, like.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
Maui thing, I know he was there.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
Maui.
So
Yeah,
which camera were you operating?
I was the camera on the far left at the time, and I was also the main cue camera for when you or Guy would talk. And then I put down the mark with the T-strip
right,
on
okay.
there.
Thank you. Got it now.
yeah. Although
Yeah, old
on
man.
that, because we were doing
He was
that.
there.
Dude, I feel really terrible, but I
Nah, don't
had
feel-
lunch. I had lunch with Greg Hammer and Shawnee.
Oh,
Greg,
yeah,
Shawnee
yeah,
Hammer
yeah.
yesterday,
Uh-huh.
right? I emceed their wedding, and I'm loath to admit this, but I do not remember anything from that wedding. I don't remember emceeing it.
Yeah.
I remember emceeing his wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of our other friends.
Do you remember emceeing my wedding?
No,
Yeah. See, you were.
but I MC. But see,
No, he
I
voluntarily
Yeah.
emceed
Yeah,
your
he
wedding,
yeah,
right?
voluntarily
because
emceed
it was
Yeah.
a hot mess,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, we're not doing this with your wedding. I'll just jump in and do some stuff.
Yeah.
So
Bro, you
anyway,
need some ginkgo biloba in your diet, man. It's that time, bro.
well, I just feel
Geritol
or some bioastin.
There you
Yes, good.
Oh, how's
pivot.
that transition?
It's not helping Kyle. He's forgetting stuff too.
Yeah. So okay. So bioastin. Tell us a little bit about this product, because I know a lot of people actually take it and they like it. I haven't heard anyone said like, I hate this thing.
Yeah, I've been taking it for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bioastin and spirulina were started in the 80s, actually, by a scientist who came
I
to
remember
Hawaii.
spirulina.
Yeah, so spirulina came first. It started in the 80s. This guy had traveled around the world because it takes a very specific environment to grow the algae and stress it. And he happened to find it in Kailua Kona.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh.
that product started. And spirulina, it's a green superfood. It's got 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in it. It's got K1 and K2 to help with iron and phytonutrients. It's not going to be a meal replacement, but it is a nutritional supplement. Then in the 90s, they discovered that salmon have a natural anti-inflammation response by eating this red algae, which creates something called astaxanthin, another naturally occurring antioxidant. So they figured out that you can stress the algae, and then it builds up a protective barrier, and when you harvest it,
I'm sorry. Every time people talk about stressing algae, I have
Get mad!
you.
Get
I know.
mad!
I have you in my head looking at the algae going, every time.
Stupid. But the stress turns the algae.
You're so stupid, algae. I cannot believe you. Sorry.
Idiot.
The
The
algae
algae
goes-
does. The stress algae does turn red.
yes, so it's a blood
Yeah.
red color.
Yeah.
And when you harvest that, we put it into a pill or now a gummy.
Yeah.
And then it.
Ooh, a
fights-
gummy.
Yeah, we have a gummy now.
It's good.
That just came out this past year.
Yep.
It's in Sam's Club and
just
Long's
this year?
Drugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
and then it'll be in Costco in the next 2 months in Hawaii.
You gave me
our website.
You gave me that sneak batch. That was
Yes.
really good.
At Made in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to fight inflammation, help with joint recovery, help with muscle recovery, fight oxidation.
Yep.
And the big thing about fighting oxidation is that it also protects your skin from getting sunburn.
Yep.
You'll change color, but you won't peel because your skin's not oxidizing and dying off.
That's why salmon don't get sunburn. But I swear about that sunburn part, because years ago I was introduced to that thing, and I was taking it. And when I used to go to fishing and stuff like that, I used to get red, burn, and peel, right?
Yeah.
And then since I've been taking bioastin, I just get dark.
Yeah.
I don't peel or burn. And sometimes I just forget to use sunscreen. But
And you're fine.
I'm fine. It's pretty nuts, yeah.
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 So you're gonna get the.
So you when you run, do you put sunscreen on you, or you just use the bioastin?
I still put sunscreen on, and we do recommend still putting on sunscreen for the SPF protection. But it's a good way that if you forget it, you're not going to, damage your skin as badly.
Yeah, you're not that exposed.
Yeah.
Because I still put sunscreen on, but I just know that I'm protected when I'm getting the mail.
By the way, I just want to make it clear that this podcast is not
Washing car.
sponsored by Bioastin in any way. I'm just very
and
curious
I
about
want some gummies,
about
dude.
the product. Yeah, I want to try this
I can
out.
get you
Try the
gummies.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
give me
can
some
get you
gummies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. That's
Okay,
cool.
so basically it's an algae that reduces inflammation.
Yes.
To simplify it.
Well, it also says to support eye health
Yeah.
and all this.
Oh,
other
man,
kind of
I need
things.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
really do.
I had this whole thing online about my glass. Like,
Yeah.
So everyone talks about having glasses being a bad thing. Like it's a hassle. It's a hassle. Like I didn't realize how much of a
Duh.
hassle it is.
Yeah.
Because then now, like, I have to carry glasses wherever I go because I don't know when I'm going to be put in a situation where the light is dim or the text is small and I have to look at something.
The worst is when you're at a restaurant and it's dark.
Yeah.
And you gotta look at the menu.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
That's
Yeah.
what we have phones for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you can take a picture with your phone and blow it up. That's what people do.
Yeah.
So I
But that's a little bit of a hassle too. Yeah, but yeah, so now like I have my sunglasses that I put on my face and I have my glasses I put on my head or on my shirt. So yeah.
Welcome to your late 40s.
And then once I get cuz right now I'm farsighted farsighted, so I wear glasses when I read. So once I lose that, then I'm going to have a third pair of glasses for that, right?
Wait. You're farsighted?
Yeah. Meaning I can see far, right? So, like, nearsighted is you can read, but you can't see distance. Yeah. So, farsighted is you can see far and can't see. Right?
Okay.
What's you?
Anyway.
Huh?
Are you
I'm a little bit of both.
you lopsided?
Yeah. But
Just
that's because I got.
it'll hit you too, Gabe. You got 20 years, though.
Yeah. You're young. You're playing time.
Yeah, man.
Plus he's
Yeah,
on
I didn't
bioastin now, so he'll never.
Oh, yeah, that's
problems.
right.
And he'll never get sunburned.
Yeah, he'll just be dark and with good eyesight.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, I definitely get dark because when
Yeah.
we shot Rescue High Surf on the North Shore from January to July, I didn't get burnt many days,
No.
but I just got really dark from being out there so much.
Ever since I've been on bioastin, I enjoy tanning now. Like I get tan. Before I only used to get red.
Yeah.
But it you get dark when I'm in the sun a lot.
I enjoy
get dark.
tanning.
You know?
Yeah.
That sounded funny, man.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
I
standing
just
in
lie
that-
on my room
He's standing-
without shirt, in my bed at ease.
Now with your film career, all the movies that you've been on set, what was the biggest movie that like it turned out to be the biggest movie that you were on set for?
I
Jumanji?
think I wasn't on Jumanji yet. That
Oh,
one
okay.
filmed pre-COVID, actually.
Oh, okay.
So with movies, the thing is that you'll film it, but it'll take 2 years to get all the VFX together and all
Right.
the post-production and edit it. You got to do test screenings. It's a whole process. But the biggest one that's been out so far has been Red One, if you've seen that one.
Red
Yeah.
One. Yeah. That's the Christmas one.
Wait,
Yeah.
Wait, why was that filmed here?
That was shot in Hawaii.
So if you remember when they introduced Jack O'Malley as an adult, he walks out
Oh,
of the
that's
coffee
right, on the
shop.
beach thing?
He walks out of the coffee shop
Yeah.
and he lands up at that ocean or that geological institute.
Yeah.
That cafe is in Kaka'ako at that intersection by Highway Inn, and then the Geological Institute is actually UH Manoa.
Oh,
And then
okay.
Wow.
that beach part with the snowman joke
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
Secret Island out at Kuloa Ranch.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And have you found the film industry to be because I know like Devon's told this story a million times. Going into the recording studio, he thought would be exciting, and then you find out that it's not that exciting there because you're just repeating the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I can imagine. 'Cause I remember one time they were filming Hawaii Five-0 out on Waikiki. Sorry, I'm going to go into a story. They were filming Hawaii Five-0 out on Waikiki Beach, and I was just walking around with my camera because I had just bought my new camera at the time, and I wanted to take pictures. And I'm like, oh, they're filming Hawaii Five-0. I'm going to get a behind-the-scenes photo posted on my Instagram. And it was this scene, and someone got shot. So you hear the pop, pop, pop of the gun, and then there's a guy lying on the ground, and then cut, and then they take about
Reset.
15 minutes to set up, and then okay,
you gotta get a
action, and
different
then
angle.
pop, pop, pop. The guy lies down on the ground,
Mhm.
and then it's like cut, and everyone just kind of standing. I'm like, oh my god, this is mind-numbingly boring.
And it's probably just 2 seconds on
Yeah,
screen,
yeah.
right?
It's like literally like 20 seconds of filming
Yeah.
at the most. But is that kind of how it is?
Yeah, even on, movies or TV shows, you're going to do a lot of the same thing. So for the crew, it doesn't look that exciting. But for the general public, it can be really exciting
Right.
because you're seeing this behind-the-scenes glimpse into what we do. I think the really fun days for at least us, although a little stressful, are the stunt days where you've got driving and you've got fights. Or on the flip side, if you get to watch a really well-written scene, because then it just never gets old.
Yeah.
You always are so enamored with the actors and how they're able to emote.
Oh, Matt, imagine if when you were on the set of
Good Will Hunting.
that or Luke, I Am Your Father, and you were there when they actually...
I am your father. That's the thing that you.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
not
that's
the name of the movie.
No. When he says that to
when-
Luke, and you're
Oh,
there
okay.
filming that,
That
that
iconic moment.
and then
yeah.
you see the scene play out on the big screen. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, I was there for that.
Well, the thing was,
Yeah.
they had to sign everybody to a
right.
DNR because you couldn't, because you couldn't tell anything to anybody, so they had to sit there for 2 years and wait.
Yeah.
I think the big thing about that, though, is that wasn't even the line that they said on the day.
No, it's not.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
It was Obi-Wan killed your father
Yeah.
on the day.
Yeah.
And then they redubbed it in
they
post.
dubbed-
Yeah.
oh.
Because it wasn't the actual voice actor in the suit. It was
Yeah.
this big European bodybuilder
Yeah.
who sounded like SpongeBob SquarePants saying every Darth Vader line.
So,
Wow.
I didn't know that. I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the only people that knew what the actual line was for the post-production side was Mark Hamill, George Lucas, and the director.
Yeah.
So Mark Hamill knew how to emote and respond to it, but everyone else just heard Obi-Wan killed your father.
Oh.
And when they told him, they said, "You, me," and I think it was either George Lucas or the director said, "You, me, and George know this.
Wow.
So if it gets out to anybody else, we gonna know it was
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. That's
But Mark Hamill said when they were watching the final thing of the movie, he was sitting with Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford turned to him when that moment happened.
Yeah.
He turned to him and goes, "Hey kid, you didn't fucking tell me that."
Yeah.
Because people in the in
Everybody
the film
didn't know.
didn't even realize it was
Yeah.
happening. So that part is kind of cool.
Okay, so I'll ask you a 2-part question.
okay.
What was your most memorable movie shoot that you went on? That it was the most coolest thing you've seen, or most funniest thing? And the second one was what was your most memorable, coolest Hisessions shoot, and who was playing at that time?
So for the movie thing, actually, it's a little bit of an interesting story. On Rescue High Surf, obviously the main 6 actors, Robbie Magasiva, Ariel Kebble, Kekoa, Zoe, Alex, are all actors. But for safety, we also had to have real lifeguards with water jet ski support. And so people don't know this, but we actually performed 64 real rescues on the
'cause
side.
they were there, yeah.
Yeah, because we were there and we could respond faster than the lifeguards. So
Was it a
for-
big day at North Shore or something?
They were spread throughout the 7 months that we filmed, but it'd be as simple as someone getting swept out by the rip current, or someone possibly drowning, or just moving the pedestrians or the public away from dangerous points where the waves are smashing up against the rock. So I think for me that was the coolest thing, was that not only are we creating something that people can watch, months later, but we're also helping.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And the most memorable Hisession shoot was probably Maui.
Oh.
The Maui live stream. Even though it wasn't a production and where we sit down, we do multiple takes and we have to readjust cameras, it was definitely the most meaningful shoot that I think I've been fortunate to be a part of. because it was 9 hours straight. We started at like 3, right? And we shot all the way till past midnight. We were rotating artists every 3 songs and just going for that long.
What was your favorite performance or favorite camera shot that you got out of that night?
I think it had to be when Capenna came. Because they came in, and I remember this, they had to go to a gig right after, so we had to come in, set them up, and then get them out of there. But that was really fun getting them in on it.
Yeah, those guys are always down.
Because people were just popping in unannounced, right?
Oh yeah, we had a ton of people. Like it was a magic night because we had a schedule, and nothing ever goes to schedule. You know this, Devon. Yes. Every single, and then so every time we were running ahead of time mostly, meaning that the artists weren't playing as long as theirs. So
you had slots.
We had extra slots, and it just so happened like Kimie wasn't supposed to perform that day. Mm-hmm. She just walked in. Just so happened right when we needed somebody. Bobby Modero walked in right when we needed somebody. He wasn't supposed to be there, but he came after a gig. Yeah. So people would just kind of show up, but they showed up
fun,
like, right at the right time. Like we needed them to play. You know.
No rehearsal. And then
the was there the whole time.
Bobby showed up. He was there the whole time. Yeah.
I like that it was just impromptu like that. It was super fun to watch.
Yeah.
Would have been really nice if you'd been there.
It would have been nice if I could have.
I was bummed you weren't
there. I would love to do it again. Maybe not 9 hours, but I would love to do something again. It's just a matter of like we got to find a cause and do it, and you know get everybody on the same page, which is not always easy. But Gabe's always a trooper. He's always there. Yeah, he and I were running around during COVID trying to do something, but it was fun, right?
Well, that was when we were doing the one camera gimbal.
One camera. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
you know,
the one camera gimbal.
Yeah, we couldn't have a crew, right? It was COVID, so we're trying to shoot, and only Gabe's there.
Who was performing?
We had Khaled did one, and
Honoka did one.
Lay Melket. Yeah, we did a few. Like we tried to just get some stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
So that the page didn't just sit for a year.
I don't know about you guys, but for some reason, COVID is a blur to me now. Like, I don't know if my mind just erased all the trauma that we went through, or it's just I'm getting old and forgetting, but it doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Have you been taking your bioastin?
But I think my mind just shut off that time.
Yeah.
It was not fun, you know?
I mean, I remember pieces of it.
Yeah.
But, as a whole, it went by. It feels like it was a long time ago now. And realistically, it kind of was. I mean, it's 5 years ago already.
Damn.
Yeah. He was still in high school.
Yeah.
Hey, I was in college.
Oh, you were in college? Okay. He was in college.
But for me, I think I remember COVID a lot because that's when I started working on film and television sets. Because of all the rules, we would be COVID testing 3 to 5 times a week, depending on the caseload at the time. And then it was really memorable also because we were doing a lot of work here in Hawaii because our case count was so low, because we had Murder Mystery 2, we had Aquaman 2, Magnum PI, NCIS Hawaii, Dugi Kamealoha MD. So we were doing a lot of work at that time that would have gone elsewhere. So for us, it was all really memorable.
And they had the hotel one in the Outer Island.
White Lotus. They had White Lotus.
Oh, yeah. Yes. They were like stuck there, right?
Yeah, they were stuck
My friend was in that one, actually.
The season 3 just came out, or is going to come out, or something like that.
I never saw it.
Pretty soon.
Has my girl Lisa in there.
Lisa, yeah. From Blackpink. He doesn't know. It's a
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, so she'll be in that.
So, Gabe, with regards to the shooting part of what you do, was that always what you wanted to do? Did you go to college for that, or did you? I mean, it seems like you kind of fell into it.
I did fall into it. Yeah, I fell into it during COVID because I was getting sick of online classes. I wanted something else to do.
Where were you studying at UH?
I was actually going to University of Oregon at the time.
Oh, okay.
And I started off as a film major, but then University of Oregon's film program isn't a cinema program like USC or UCLA, where you're focusing more on production. Theirs is more theory and history. So I just sort of bounced around. By the end, I was sort of going into like a pre-med kind of looking track. And then I got this offer from someone to come work as a productions assistant on set for Dugi Kamealoha. Took that, it rolled into being a full-time position on Magnum, and then it sort of just rolled into...
That's how it goes, yeah.
That's how it goes.
If you're good, man. If you're good, they're gonna ask you to stay on and do stuff.
You're like a freelance then, basically.
Everybody in the film industry is pretty much a freelance, except for are grips, camera, medic, and electricians. Because those guys are all IATSE. Yeah, union.
Mm-hmm.
And then IATSE finds them, shows, and puts them on a list of here's who you can hire. The Teamsters kind of roll, our transport department kind of rolls as a family package where they've got one guy and they follow through. The same with our locations department. But for us in the AD department world, it's kind of who you know that's an AD who's willing to bring you onto shows.
Mm. Would you ever consider going to Hollywood and doing that kind of production over there?
I think honestly right now the future is more in either Canada or New Zealand.
Because of the fires and all that?
No, just because that's where the tax incentives are the best.
Mm.
That's the one part with the US is that we haven't had really competitive tax incentives. Like in Canada, if you go there, you can get a 30% tax incentive with a no budget cap. A lot of productions in the US will budget cap you at $50 million or $60 million, maybe up to $100 million.
Well, do you think though that studios are going to keep spending these, because a lot of these $300 million, $200 million productions have not been making their money back lately, and so do you think they're going to start pulling back on the budgets so that they can do more $50 million type movies instead of doing one big 200? You can do 450.
The future right now definitely seems to be going actually in the streaming direction.
Okay.
Because things like, The Mandalorian, The Bear, The Pit, which is currently on HBO Max.
Devon started watching that,
yeah.
The Pit's great.
Yeah.
Great show.
Because John Wells, who did The Pit, also did Rescue High Surf, so we heard about it coming up throughout the year. And it's such a cool format where, it's basically a time-accurate view into a 15-hour ER shift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wild, the stuff that they're doing. And they're like, holy shit. And they've had doctors watch it and go, yep, that's right. Like, they don't dumb it down. They don't, like, give you an explanation for this thing that they're doing, this procedure that they're doing. They're just doing it. And you go, that's, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. Even with the taxes in Hawaii, though, it's always a staple here to film and do things, right?
It is.
It's become a destination place, right?
Yeah. It definitely
It
is.
also helps when you have people like The Rock go, I want to film in Hawaii.
Or Jason.
Or Jason, yeah.
Jason just had a production come through here.
Did you help on that one too?
Yes, I was on that one.
I didn't see you downtown. That they were shooting at that one place in Chinatown.
At Mauna Kea Market?
Yeah.
I was there.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I was there. It was that one. Can't talk too much about it, obviously.
It's okay. But like you were saying, right? I was there in Chinatown doing something completely different. And as soon as I rolled up, you see the cameras and the trucks and the guys standing around and the PAs looking, and I went, oh shit, they're shooting something. Because I was like, oh no, this is gonna take forever. And all you see is all the way down the street is just tourists and people and looking just standing there. Yeah. And they're all like, they're trying to pretend like they're not there, but you know that they're there to watch. They know that somebody famous is over there, and the PAs say something about, well, Jason is blah blah blah, and they go, Jason Momoa, and then even more so they're standing like by the wall trying not to cause any problems. But it was cool because I've done stuff, so it doesn't faze me. I'm like, okay, can you guys move out of my way so I can get to the store I want to get to? Yeah. So I get to the store and I'm walking back, and Jason walked out for something. Dave Bautista is in the movie with him, and so I don't know if they were both on set, but I think they were. It was all this setup for Jason and Dave to like walk out of the entrance of this place. I think that's all they were doing. And it was like 5-6 hours of them setting up. They're moving people around, and then at a certain point, one of the PAs, I'm watching her walk down the thing and go, okay, you and you and you stay here. Look like you're buying produce. and they were so excited because they weren't really, I don't think they were meant to be in the shot, but they were gonna be, so you might as well utilize these people, and that's kind of cool.
Did you ever get pulled into a shot because they just needed somebody?
Yes, I definitely do have a few cameos in the shows I've worked on.
Like which one? What is the most famous one?
For Magnum, I was a deceased soldier in season 3 named Kaeo in flashbacks. And then in Rescue, in episode 18, I'll have a little cameo.
Did they pay you when you end up doing those cameos?
No.
Because you're already on
Yeah, I'm
set.
already
because
on,
you
yeah.
have all the volunteering.
Yeah.
They're not gonna pay you extra. Plus, usually they put you far enough away that
You can't see your
that
image.
They can't see you, or
Yeah.
they see you and it's so quick that they're not gonna remember you. That's why, like, my friend Brandon does a lot of work for
Toma?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
So B does all this work, and I'm like, shit, dude. He's everywhere in
Yeah.
every show, but it's because he's far enough back that they can't see him, but they know he's gonna be okay. They know he's gonna show up. He's gonna be there all day. It's not gonna be an issue, because what you don't want to be is you don't want to be that actor going.
Yeah.
Looking
You remember
at your
when they were
phone or making
filming
trouble.
Hawaii Five-0? Aina was busy.
Yeah.
Like on East Side Drive,
Yeah.
we'd always have the big trailers parked over there,
Yeah.
and then you know they're gonna film because there's this like stand that says like ice on it or something. I don't know what the hell that meant.
It was I back
I.
then. Yeah.
Yeah,
I Productions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, they're gonna film Hawaii Five-0 because
Yeah.
my guard's house is right across the street.
Yeah.
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 It's cool.
No, it's kind of fun to see the
Yeah,
production
I like
part of
having
you
it
know?
around.
And
I think the best part is that, we're supporting local in ways that people don't even see.
Yeah.
Because not only are we paying our crew, who is usually 60, 70, 80, 90% locals, we're also paying vendors to do like graphic design or paying
Yeah.
craft services.
craft service.
Yeah.
But it's other ways where people maybe don't always see it, but we are giving back to the local economy and supporting a lot of businesses here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John,
Well,
the final question now.
yeah.
Oh,
So, Gabe,
are we at that
Yeah.
time? Oh.
we are at that time. So, if you were stranded on a desert island, because I don't have to explain this to you, for the rest of eternity, you could only bring three. Well, you're young, so you don't know albums. So let's say
Well,
three.
let's see if you know.
Three collections of artists' music. So three artists to take their music with you to listen to for the rest of the time. What would those three artists be? He ain't gonna be like
Hey, you never know.
Thriller by Michael Jackson.
He is a much more.
he is a
accomplished
refined
guy.
Albums still it's like downloads and CDs. It's all albums.
Yeah, but people don't know the names of them.
Oh.
We could be surprised. We
All
did
right.
not know until
Well,
today
let's
that
see.
he
We can
won
find
2
out.
marathons.
If you can say the album name, say it. But if not, don't worry.
Yeah.
We won't hold it against you.
I think Ed Sheeran's Divide.
See,
That was
So prove me wrong. Thank you.
Ed Sheeran's Divide. Charlie Puth's Voice Notes.
singer-songwriters. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm blanking on the last name. I'm not gonna lie. Blanking on the last name, but hey, I got 2 for 3.
Well, what's the? You're blanking on the name, or you're blanking on the album?
The album? I'm blanking on the album name.
What's
just
the
name
name?
the
What's the
artist.
name? Yeah.
It was an artist by the name of Banners. They're a British band,
Okay.
but they do a lot of film music and they have really good lyrics, but I forget what the album name was.
I have another last question.
Yeah, sure. sure. We have time.
We got like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So you run, you film, you do all these kind of things. Do you play an instrument too? Are you music? Do you like music and play music?
Yeah, I do guitar and ukulele.
Yeah.
Such a multi-talented dude.
He is a
Banners
multi-talented
is
dude.
one dude.
Yeah.
Banners is one dude.
Banners is one.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, he's a band, but all the pictures are all just of him.
All right.
So which one looks better? All Back to Mine. It's gonna be okay. Where the Shadow Ends. Any of those?
Yeah, some of those. I think he put together like an acoustic album
Mm-hmm.
of those, and so just that acoustic album was
Oh,
really
I'm
good.
kind of curious now to
Yeah.
check this out. All right.
I mean, I get a lot of good new music from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so your taste in music is more towards singer-songwriters, guy with a guitar, that kind of thing.
I like those who
anyone?
have unique producing styles.
Mm.
If you listen to Ed, he'll hide things in the track and he'll layer the track so it builds over time. Charlie Puth, it can be, that he builds his songs off of iPhone voice notes, and then they become these pop hits, and he'll hide things like cowbell or acoustic guitars or even little things like old crackling from a vinyl record. Things that you maybe don't notice unless you pay attention to it or listen to it with a full sound system.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a unique production that the way they build it.
Try Maggie
Nice.
Rogers. Try check her out. She's got some interesting
Nice.
stuff.
Well, Gabe, thanks for coming in, Matt. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on all your success. Keep running. We'll be cheering you on from the couch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And until next week, we'll see y'all later.
Latest.
Take care.